Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew. I'm here at Star Cottage Studio, and we've had a busy day. I think we start all of our videos saying we've had a busy day, and that's usually because we have. So today, our teacher, Jen, she was out of the shop. Usually on Fridays, we have our make and take. So she was out this week, so I filled in and helped some folks make some jewelry. It was fun. I haven't done it in a while, so it was interesting. Hopefully, they had a good time. Yeah. So Cynthia, she's picking up Azalea at Touchstone. William's going to be joining us soon. He's on his way here to the cottage. He's locking up at the shop. So I'm here to uh, I guess I'm the in between. So, hello everyone. How are you? How's it going today? It's a warm one here today, but it's kind of pleasantly warm. Or maybe that's because I was in the air conditioner all day. They finally, thank goodness, they got a new air conditioning unit at the shop. So at Allegory Gallery, we have a new air conditioner, and everything is nice and cool and comfy. But I found myself sitting in the car for, I had the door open, and it was nice just to kind of enjoy the warmth for a second. Um, we had a lot of fun last night in the creative make along that we do. That was for our Royal Road kit that we debuted. It's a couple months ago now, but we had I had fun at least. I can't speak for everybody else, but I had fun. That was last night. And then tonight, y'all, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. The Great Bead Extravaganza is kicking off tonight with a preview party. That happens at 8 Eastern time here, I believe. And we're super excited. We're getting everything ready. I'm not quite ready yet. I need a couple things. I need to test out a couple things first before I'm ready. But yeah, so that's tonight. And then we're going to be on tomorrow morning, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy the Great Bead Extravaganza. It's going to be happening all weekend long. So there's 14 different presenters, and each one of them has either a live demo or a pre-recorded demo, and it should be a lot of fun. So hopefully you enjoy that. We've been working hard on this for months and months and months. I kind of switched gears, kind of relatively recently, so we'll see if I can get everything pulled together that I need to get pulled together. And then tomorrow during our segment, we're going to be debuting the new design challenge, and we have limited quantities of it. So be sure is that if you want to play along with the next design challenge, that you tune in tomorrow morning when we go live, because that's when it's going to hit, and who knows who's going to get them. It's a little bit stressful, I know. You're like, oh, I just want to wake up and enjoy my Saturday and not stress out. But it's gonna, there's only so many, and in theory, we have 12,000 people in the Great Bead Extravaganza, and there's going to be a limited number of kits. So if you want one, you're gonna have to snatch it, because otherwise you won't get it, and then infinite sadness. I don't know. All right, so let's see who's watching. I see a couple of people have tuned in. June is watching. Howdy, June. June was hanging out last night. She made a knotted and it started on a knotted multi-strand bracelet that looked really awesome. If you didn't get to see that, that was in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge group. Here, let me throw up that. That sounds gross. Like I'm going to puke. Let me put up the link to our Facebook page group. Here it is, down below, right down here. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. We had a good time. Cynthia was there. We shared stories. We laughed. laughed and laughed and laughed. Somebody was laughing so hard they were crying. So if you missed out, that was a good time. Julie's watching. Howdy, Julie. Norma's watching. Howdy, Norma. Norma, congratulations. You were the winner. You already know this, but the people out there may not know if they didn't watch last night's Creative Make-Along. But Norma and Kristen both won the lovely prize package that we put together for the kit launch. And you're like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Where am I? What am I doing? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Kristen Fagan from Softlex was visiting us, and Cynthia is here visiting. And we decided, hey, let's make some kits. I showed them, how I make kits, and they were looking at some of the kits. And so each of them made some kits, and we were going to make some, a little bit of travel money. So they made kits, and then we were like, hey, let's make this a friendly competition, and we will see who the winner is. And Kristen was the winner, and somebody who bought one of Kristen's kits was picked randomly, and that happened to be Norma. So she got a bonus kit that will be included with her kit that she ordered, or kits. I don't really know how many things that she ordered. So anyways, congratulations, Norma, and congratulations, Kristen. And thank you for hanging out with us, Kristen. That was a lot of fun. We miss you. We've been having a good time, but it was a lot of fun spending time with you. So hopefully you'll get to come back, and we'll make more things, and we'll have more time. It's always me and Cynthia and William were talking about this last night, but it seems like we blink and an hour has passed, and we blink and another hour has passed, and time is just going too quickly. It's just happening too fast. So yeah, too quick. It's going by too quick. So yeah, we are here making kits and getting things ready for the Great Bead Extravaganza and all that fun stuff. I do want to mention that we're starting another business. I don't know if you know this or not, but we here at Allegory Gallery have been trying really hard to expand our little beady empire. And so we are opening a new store in the Johnstown area. It's going to be just a jewelry store. It's not going to be a bead store, but it's kind of bead store adjacent, right? And it's going to focus on contemporary artisan-made jewelry. So we're super excited about that. We're in the very early stages. Had you asked me a month ago if we were doing this, I probably would have said no, because I didn't know about it. But then the opportunity hit, and we're going to strike while the iron is hot. And Azalea maybe will be telling us more about striking while the iron is hot, actually the low carbon steel. Strike while the steel is hot, the low carbon steel, high carbon steel. I can't remember. It's the one that the softer, it's not tool steel. Anyway, she was taking blacksmithing at Touchstone, and I hope that she'd be here for an interview, but they're still on their way back, making their way over here. So that's that. So anyways, we're starting a new store. We already secured our angel investors to borrow the money to buy the building. We're actually buying our building this time. For the past couple of years, we've been renting for Allegory Gallery, and we purchased Star Cottage Studio last year, which is where I am now. And then we're working on buying our new building in Johnstown, and that's already kind of lined up. But the startup costs, it's kind of expensive to start up a business. So we've got a GoFundMe going. If you enjoy our content, if you've ever said, oh, Andrew, you should write a book, or, oh, I just love your lives, they helped me get through a dark time, consider, slipping a little something our way. And I don't want to pressure people. I know that the times are tough, and that it's a unpredictable world, and it's in very, things are changing very rapidly in our world, and you may not have the funds to do it, but if you do and you've enjoyed what we've been doing, uh, you know, instead of buying me a coffee or alcoholic beverage when we see each other next, slip us a $5 bill or a $10 bill or whatever you can afford, and that will help us get going. And we're going to get going regardless, whether we raise money or not. We are at almost 20% of our goal, um, which I think is amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all of those of you out there who have contributed. But yeah, so we're working on that. That's in our GoFundMe. I'll post a link in the comments, or you can scroll back through our feed and see the posts about it, and you can see exactly what we're planning to spend the money on. But we're still going to do it whether or not we raise the whole amount. It will just take a lot longer to get everything running and up and going. So if we can make our lives easier, then that would be super nice. Because a lot of times you just don't realize how much stuff adds up, or maybe you do, but like bags and stamps and things like that, it all adds up. And so we really want to just like hit the ground running. So if you are able to, please contribute. I feel like we offer a valuable asset in our jewelry making community. We've donated hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of free content out there. So if you enjoy what you were putting down, then please consider, helping us, and we'll help you. That's the ecosystem, right? If it's kind of like on PBS, if you like the things that you're enjoying, if you're consuming, then consider helping us be able to continue to do that. All right. I hate to. It kind of sounds like I'm begging, and I don't necessarily feel comfortable with that. Because we were raised a little bit to be proud and not ask for charity. But one of my small business mentors said, if you never ask, you will never receive. And so if your hand isn't open and your heart is like, your heart may be open, but if your hand's not open, you'll never receive the things that the universe has available to you. So here we go. My hand's open, my heart's open, my mind's open. I don't know what else is open. Maybe I was gonna say my drink's open, but I actually didn't bring a drink. But so, anyways, let's see who else is watching. Suzanne is watching. Howdy, Suzanne. Marianne's watching. Howdy, Marianne. Marianne says she had fun. That's good. Julie says that she's bummed she couldn't join the Zoom. Yeah, we missed you. Maybe next time. Suzanne says TGBE time. That it is. Sandra says hello, hello. Hi. Somebody messaged me just now, so I was kind of like trying to read that and read this and speak at the same time. Obviously, that did not work as smoothly and as seamlessly as I would have hoped. But howdy. Welcome, Sandra. Jewelry Designs by Rose says, hi, I'm so excited. We're excited too. Cindy Lawrence has said, hey all. Howdy, Cindy. June says, fun time yesterday, Andrew. Diane said, I wish I could have come yesterday. Yeah, hopefully you had a good time at the fundraiser. I know you were at some place in Greensburg helping raise money for, what is it, dog training for one of your friends. So hopefully that worked out and you all raised lots of money. Donna says, hello, Andrew and everyone. Howdy, Donna. Teresa's watching. Howdy, Teresa. Donna says, I really enjoyed watching the last couple of days. Yeah, we've been busy, having lots of fun. I wish that Cynthia and them lived closer so we could do this all the time. We have a great time making things, going on walks and getting inspiration and collaborating and just kind of also the other thing that's really nice, that I found that has been really nice is that we have been leveraging our small business entrepreneur knowledge and enriching each other. And what that means is basically, we each kind of have our experiences owning a business, and those experiences are sometimes unique to our own kind of ways of doing things, and we can always do better, right? So by sharing our experiences and collaborating, we've been able to talk about things, and learn and grow and share resources. So that's been super valuable. And I wish we could do this all the time because I feel that I can build a house with my bare hands kind of energy. So yeah, I normally am on one time a week, and I've been on like every day this week, whether I've been behind the camera or in front of it. So I definitely have had a shot of energy in the arm. And yeah. All right. Norma says, I'm excited to get the prize kit as well as both Kristen and Cynthia's kits. Oh, great. Yeah, I thought we put together a lovely prize. It's some fiery reds and oranges. Hopefully you like it. I know I love it. Some of those components I've been hoarding for years. So hopefully you enjoy that. Susan's watching. Howdy, Susan. Hopefully everything's going well. Norma says, it was fun to see both Cynthia and Kristen. Yeah, I love it, to be able to do that. Now that COVID, we're all vaxxed and boosted, and, we're trying to be as cautious as possible, but also still kind of live our lives. And we've been very careful about the spending time with one another so that nobody gets sick. I'm on the more paranoid scale about it, mostly because if I get sick, it throws a huge wrench in some of our plans, and I don't want to do that. So like, I was wearing my mask the whole time at the store today, and hopefully nobody got too weirded out by me, like, but I think everybody's used to that by now. Molly's watching. Howdy, Molly. Susan says, I wanted to join in, but there was a must-see event yesterday. I also don't like being on video or in photos. You can still join in, if you want, and you can leave your camera off. That's always an option. We debated about forcing the camera to go on whenever you join the Zoom. It's a little setting that you can do. But I said, what if they're like fixing their hair or doing something, before they want to get on camera? So if you ever want to do that, you can do that and leave the audio and the camera off, and it will just show a little black square. Or just put your camera facing your work surface, or just hang out in the comments. So there are lots of options. You don't even have to work on the kit that we're working on. It's nice if you do, but you don't have to necessarily. June, she was working on her own project, and Anne was working on her own project. Rana, she just hangs out with us and chats. So, you don't necessarily have to work on anything. So yeah, it's just a fun little extra that we're doing. We don't make any money off of it. It's just a way for us to hang out and spend time with our community and enjoy each other's company. So yeah. Marianne says, how did the puppy girl training go, Molly? That's a question for Molly. Marianne says, do you have a name for the shop yet? We kind of maybe do. And that's kind of vague. I'm vague booking right now. And the reason why I'm not saying anything is in case we decide to change something. And it's all happened rather quickly and also slowly. In some ways, it's happened over years of time, and then in some ways, it's happened like boom, boom, boom. So maybe, but we're still. I'm being good. I'm not spilling all the beans. Usually I have what my mother lovingly refers to as diarrhea of the mouth, and I just run my mouth super hard. But this time I'm keeping it quietish. So you'll have to wait and see. Molly's talking about training. And then Marianne says, it would have been fun to put the money in your hand. Correct. Julie says, we'll definitely join in next time. Teresa says, hello, Andrew. Hey, Teresa. Thanks for joining us last night. Harry's watching. Hello, Harry. In today's class, one of the people made a necklace, and they used one of your pieces as their focal, and they just loved it, and they kept talking about how much they loved it. And William will probably share pictures of that, sooner rather than later. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because I think she did a great job. Linda's watching. Howdy, Linda. Molly says, I have enjoyed watching this week too. What a fun time it looked like you all had. I'm sure it was nice to have your sister with you this week. It was super fun. Julie says, we love time with you. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you all have been enjoying it. It's a little bit different. Marianne says, the prize kit was gorgeous. I'm glad you liked that. Nancy's trying to watch and cook. Oops. I went and the thing bounced. So, let's see. Amanda's watching. Hi, Amanda. Kelly says, it did look like a lot of fun. Oh, good. So let's see. Susan says, I enjoyed the sibling banter. Well, it is what it is. All right. So, yeah. All right. I'm trying not to read too much of the side comments, and that may be weird because usually I read all the comments. But you know what? William was like, dude, you need to learn how to land the plane, because this was like the other one the other day was like 2 hours long. And mostly I just read comments, and then they're like, well, what if somebody doesn't want to watch comments on the YouTube and they just want to get straight to the thing? Somebody said, maybe you could have a GoFundMe page to raise money. We do have one. So we have a GoFundMe campaign, and William can add a link, or we can add a link later, but it gives you updates on everything that we're doing. And you can find that in my personal timeline or William's personal timeline or on the Allegory Gallery timeline. So just keep an eye out for that. We'll post the link here on the video also, so that we can get this thing going. No point dilly-dallying. There sometimes people are very hesitant to ask for help, and one of the things that I do or have done in the past is I don't like to ask for help. I'm just going to do it myself. And you know what? That's a trauma response. So I'm learning just as much as everybody else about how to deal with that. And one of the things I've had to let go of is being forcefully and willfully independent, and asking for help when I need it. So if you all want to help out, that's super awesome. And if you can't contribute financially, I know times are tough for a lot of folks. There are lots and lots of ways you can help us. And one of those ways is to share our posts about the new creative venture that we're having in Johnstown. And by sharing that, it helps boost the signal. And, we were talking a lot about this and how in many circles, they're like, especially like the nonprofit world, there's a lot of grant money going around out there. And, you don't get that grant money unless you apply for it. So that's kind of what we're doing. And instead of having a corporate funded grant, which we have applied for those as well, we're having a crowdsource funded grant. And that is all of you out there who are helping make this possible. And we're zeroing in on 20% of our goal. So I'm super excited about that. We've been shaking that money tree as hard as we can, trying to get them dollars to drop in the various ways that we have. We filled out a small business grant for a major alcoholic beverage company. I know that sounds weird, but they're like, here, we're supporting small businesses, and it doesn't really matter how we make our money. So so we filled that out. That was pretty intense. And we filled out, which one did we just fill out? I write these pretty frequently. Part of my day, people think that I'm like hanging out and making things in the studio, and I wish that's all I did. But a good portion of my day is securing funding and writing emails and doing Zoom calls and all that fun stuff, which is not that exciting. But anyways, so I'm not going to talk too much about the kits because William's going to be coming over here at some point, and he'll be showing you some of those kits. I see more comments. I'm going to try to get through some of those real fast. Susan says, that's hard for me too. My old boss always said I was so independent. That's the thing. It's like, I think you have to have a healthy balance of being like codependent or dependent on somebody else so that it doesn't become crippling. There's times when I, for a couple of years there, I wasn't leaving the house very much. And it kind of gets you a little bit sometimes weird. At least that's how I describe it in a lovingly way. So I was kind of like getting to the point where I didn't really want to go anywhere unless William was there. And that's not necessarily the best thing, where you feel like you can't do something unless you have somebody else. So it's always a healthy balance. I feel like that's the secret to life, is all things in balance, for both virtue and vice, right? All right, let's get going. Let's start making things instead of talking about coping mechanisms with generational trauma. We'll have our own little side podcast here about how to work through stuff. How about that? All right, so I'm going to flip the camera around, and let's start making. Who's ready? You'll see the ceiling for a second. And then my table here. Marion says, kind of like a mild case of agoraphobia. I do that too. I think that it's one of those things where if you kind of train your brain a certain way, it kind of gets like that. You're creating those habits, and it's hard to break those habits sometimes. So when I started going to contemporary craft, it was really a great thing because it got me outside of the house, and it got me energized to teach again, because for a while I was like, I'm gonna slowly fade out of teaching. And then I was like, I actually like teaching. I like to see people and they have those ah, aha breakthrough moments, and I just enjoy that. So it got me back into doing that more and socializing and kind of building things and getting kind of outside of my comfort zone. And once I did, so many great things have happened since I've been working on it. So sometimes it's hard. It's hard because for a while I was like, I only like soft pants and I don't like to put on pants. I don't like to put on hard pants. So, it's been good. All right. So Molly says, we are ready. Molly says, nice beams on the ceiling. Thanks. Molly says, I definitely had a mild case of agoraphobia after COVID. I felt weird going out. I still feel like that sometimes, especially in large groups of people. We visited my parents over Christmas, and we drove down, and we were going to stop in St. Augustine to get lunch. And at that point, everybody was still wearing their masks, and it was still pretty, pretty, pretty. It was still early enough in it that people were still taking precautions. And we went to St. Augustine to grab lunch, and nobody was wearing masks, and there was tons and tons of people. And we were all kind of like, ooh, that's scary time. So we ended up driving a little bit down the road to stop for lunch instead of stopping there. Just because if you're not used to it, it gets a little bit challenging. All right. Susan says, and you were with folks who are fellow travelers. Marion says, my morning walks help as I meet and greet people on the path. That's good. Sandra says, I think COVID has caused a lot of social anxiety. I know it's affecting me. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, um, I have a tendency to want to withdraw a lot from the world and kind of like just hang out in my little imaginary landscape that I have. And I think that's cool and nice, but also it can be really challenging when you're trying to make connections and grow community. So that's hard. It's hard to do that. Susan says, yes, especially in large groups of people who don't seem to care about their fellow humans. Yeah, that was hard for me. Now I kind of have this thing where I kind of just have to like grit my teeth and do it. And if I have to go out, generally I kind of plan it so I have as minimal contact as possible. But sometimes that's unavoidable, and you kind of just have to skirt around the edges or do what you have to do to make it happen. Melanie says, agreed, Sandra. Even my daughter doesn't like going out much. Molly says, Marianne, that has helped my daughter and I as we take Pepper out and enjoy walking and talking to our neighbors. Oh, that's great. I think we all have to find the strategy that helps us best. And I don't want it to turn into such a political kind of conversation. I know that it's been politicized over the past couple of years, and it's kind of been us against them kind of thing. But really, it's just about, getting through this together, however you think or feel, and being respectful of one another as best you can, right? All right. So let's get to it before I get into too much trouble. I have, like my mama said, I got the diarrhea of the mouth. I don't know when to stop. So yeah, so I've got this kit, and we launched this probably during Kittapalooza, but we had an issue with one of the strands. It was a vintage strand that had bought through a third party, and some of the color had started coming off of the beads. So we pulled this kit and we replaced it with a comparable color, or a comparable bead that's in the same color in the same color in the same color family. It was a yellow bead, but this one's a little bit darker and more saturated, which I think actually looks better. So we recently relaunched these. These are available on our website. That's allegorygallery.com. And there's lots and lots of kits available. So if you go to the homepage, you're only going to see a fraction of what is actually available. So I do encourage you, when we're on video, to go to the website. That's allegorygallery.com. Use those menus, go through all the different sections, because there's tons and tons of stuff. We got a comment just recently and they're like, well, you only have like 5 things for sale. I was like, no, we have thousands of things for sale. So that's another way. Somebody else was like, well, the GoFundMe is a cool idea, but I kind of, if I spend money, I have to like buy something that I can use. So if you are at all like that and you're like, oh, I can't really afford to donate money, you can always go to our website, or if you're local, you can buy stuff, and that helps us too. Every single dollar counts, whether it comes from the store or if it comes from the GoFundMe campaign. It all kind of contributes to our overall revenue streams. And that's one way that you can help us make our dreams possible, so that we can continue to build community and pursue our dreams. And I know, that's maybe a little woo-woo for some people, or too touchy-feely, but it's the way we live our lives every day. So thank you so much for everybody who has contributed to our campaign so far, who have purchased things in the store, either physically or online. We appreciate all of it. So thank you. Now back to the program, y'all. All right, so this is one of the kits available in the online store. This is one of our toggles. This is also in the online store. It's a part of the AG Fine Pewter line, and it's in the antique copper. I love this toggle because it's really sweet. It's like a basic, really stylish, contemporary toggle. It's one of those ones where if you don't want too much excitement, it's got enough decorative elements to it so it's not plain, but it's also not like over the top. Because we've got some that are like, woo. And those are nice, but sometimes you want something a little bit more subdued so that the beads can kind of speak for themselves. So this is a great toggle for that. That's also available online at allegorygallery.com. And you can actually, that's the only place that it's available. We don't have these in store. So if you want them, you have to order them. And that's how you can get those. All right. We've got our beads here. I've got these lovely Czech glass beads. Here's some Czech glass beads, pinch beads. I've got these pressed Czech glass leaves in this floral motif. This is some vintage glass. I think it's Indian. They have these molds, and that's how those are made. And I've got these brushed copper beads. These are a beautiful, I love that kind of finish on them. And then this is some more Czech glass and then some crystal. So it's a lovely kit. I love that kind of citrusy bite of yellows and greens. It really is a nice kind of combination station. And I like how the copper is mirrored in the copper of the Czech glass flowers. Now, the Czech glass flowers, they kind of have a finish that they've put on this and kind of put that in the recesses, and that's how that kind of all ties together, right? Okay, so for our stringing material today, we're going to be using waxed Irish linen. Now for today's project, I'm using olive drab, and this is in a 4-ply weight. So this is Irish wax linen, olive drab, 4-ply waxed Irish linen. And that, I don't know if we have that in the online store or not. I didn't check. But if you need some, I have some. And that can be found in the in-store or by special request. Now, if you ever have any special requests and you're like, I need blah, 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 or I have a problem with my order or whatever, if you ever need direct assistance, you can always email us at info@allegorygallery.com. We had somebody message the store, I think yesterday, I don't know, someday. But they were having issues because they're like, how come you never got back to me in time? And what's happening here?
People are here.
Who people?
People we haven't seen in a week.
Oh, hello, Azalea. What's happening? Oh, I like your earrings. Those are cute. My sister, my sistra. She's bringing me the juice of life. I'll show it. Here you go.
Oat milk decaf. I didn't know if you put sugar in it.
They stopped at the Dunkin' for me. Thank you. All right, so let's do this, y'all. So we've got some monofilament, which is this clear plastic, and you're like, what the heck is he gonna use that for? And
What the heck are you gonna use that for?
William, don't heckle me. I'm focusing. I fight kids and I fight grown-ups. That's from a meme. That's from a meme, y'all.
I thought I saw that.
I know I shared it. I hope you did because I shared it with you.
I was like, I'm gonna get my belt.
No, that was very charming. That's very charming. All right, so I've got this monofilament, and this is clear plastic, and you may be wondering, why does he have that? And you know what? This will change your life, y'all. The video, this little tidbit might be worth the whole video. I'm just going to cut off a little bit. This is what I'm using for my needle. I know, you're like, ugh.
Oh, I was just signed because it was hard for me to drive and look at the road.
Well, if you didn't hear that, Cynthia said it was hard for her to drive and look at the road. This is where those self-driving car, I think she would benefit greatly.
Yes.
Even though we found out they're not that safe. I was talking to somebody and they were like, well, they're not as safe as people think, and they should take a little bit more care with how they use those.
First in my bubble.
Sweet manna of heaven.
Brown sugar cold brew with sweet cold foam.
It tastes good. It's almost slightly holiday-ish. It's slightly Christmassy.
Shortbread muffin or shortbread donuts, but they had food coloring, Andrew.
Molly says, I like those green leaves, Andrew. Are they on the website? No, they're not.
What green leaves?
Y'all are getting distracted. You think this is like a free-for-all live. This is instructional.
Here, let's help.
Or those. They're in the kit. You gotta buy the kit.
And then somebody keeps sending me things and it's disrupting the link. So be careful. All right. Let's see. It went on my phone and it disrupted the link. Hopefully we're still live. Let me see. Where did I leave off?
Are you live right now?
I am live right
Well, you
now.
were talking about doing the hole.
Huh?
The hole and the monofilament, remember?
Yeah, I'm trying
The
to.
comments where he was.
Oh, he's reading the comments.
So right. They says we just need a teleporter. Correct. Linda says yes, you're still live. Okay, great. Okay, so I've got this monofilament. I've got this waxed Irish linen, which I love this. You know, I most of my stringing projects back in the day were for the most part done on soft flex or flexible beading wire. But when Lorelei Uruto and Aaron Siegel came out with their book, the Bohemian Jewelry book that they came out with a couple years ago, I was like, I'm curious about this waxed Irish linen you speak of. And so then, of course, I had to get one of every color. And so, yeah. So, and then I was like, I actually like this. Now,
No, you use it for books.
hmm?
You use it for bookmaking, remember?
Oh, yeah. Cynthia reminded me that we used it for books to bind it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a trick in a second. And you're going to be like, what? What trick? So many tricks. But in the meantime, I'm going to measure off and cut one wingspan of this wax Irish linen. So that's one of my arm and one of my torso. And I would adjust the camera so you could see me do this, but then I would have to adjust it back. And then I don't want you to have to stay up my nose to do a boogie check. So you're just gonna have to picture it in your mind. Ligonier 2022, Andrew Thornton cutting off one wingspan of waxed Irish linen.
Just say a yard.
It could be a yard, but what if your arms are different? You
Mine
know.
is a yard. That should be sufficient.
All right. So I've got this brown paper bag, and I've cut off a little bit. And what I'm going to do, and I learned this trick, I think, from Heather Powers, is to run the paper through. And this removes some of the excess wax and also get it nice and so that it's nice and good to work. It's like conditioning your thread, right? It impregnates the thread. It gets the excess off. That way you don't have gunky holes. Who wants gunky holes? Not me.
And
Cynthia's making faces, but it's true. Nobody who wants the gunky holes. She's like, nah, nah, nah. All right. So then the next part of this project extraordinaire is you line up your ends and then you bend this over like so. And that way you find your middle point. All right. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by putting my wax Irish linen. Now, here's another trick. You can kind of compress down the end, and also you can cut your wax Irish linen at an angle, and it will almost make a needle. You know, not a metal needle, but it'll be pretty good. All right, so you pass this through until you get to your on your string here, like so. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my middle again because I kind of lost my middle, like so, which is right here. And I'm going to pinch that so it kind of remembers. And then I'm going to take this, the loop side, get the loop side of that toggle and pass that through the wax Irish linen. And you'll put that right here, like so. And then you'll put this end, you'll make a knot. And This is an overhand knot. So I've got my 2 fingers like so. I've got my waxed Irish linen like this. And then I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to pass this toggle through that little hole. And then I'm going to knot this right up here. I'm pulling evenly and consistently. It's called an overhand knot. And I'm just going to get that right there and make sure that it's right there at the end. Okay. And then I'm going to take this piece that is not passed through that green bead, and I'm going to put that down through my leaf. Now, if it doesn't want to go smoothly and evenly, you can hold the pieces together and then push like so. And then once it comes out through the other side, you can pull it and you'll have like this. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another overhand knot, and I'm going to pass this back through like so. And if you're having problems aiming your knots, you can always take an awl or a tweezer or a plier end, and you can pull, or even a nail, and pull that down so you get it nice and tight to your your next bead in the line. See, like that. And the thing is that you know, you can do it where it's spaced out, and naturally as you wear this it will kind of loosen up over time, but you do want to make sure that you are you don't want to have it too loosey goosey. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these Czech glass flower beads, and depending on the hole size, I haven't actually made this prior to going live. Who would do that? So you can pass this through. I don't know if the hole is going to be big enough for 2. But we're going to try. We're going to try to do it. And now if you ever need to do that, you can kind of twist your threads together a little bit so it makes a pointy kind of needle point, and then pass this through. Let me see if it will do it or not, because the holes might be too tight. And if it is too tight, I have an alternative. Looks like it's a little too tight. I could probably make it work, but I'm just going to do it the other way. So I'm going to find one of these points of one of the legs and pass that through like so. And then I'm going to get that right up there and close. And then I'm going to do another overhand knot. And then that way it will be nice and butted up right close to where I need it to go. Okay. So there you go. Now you do see the thread on the other side, and you know, you may not love that look, but if you don't like that, I guess you could buy another kit and have them, you know, go like this. So it's like double-sided, and so that the thread is hidden. I don't mind this, but I know if some people, they're not in love with that look. So if you're not in love with that look, then don't do it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is pass this through the base of this green leaf. Now, if you're like, I want those green leaves, we have them available in the kit. So if you go to the website, that's allegorygallery.com, you can find this kit and more and get your very own kit with these very own glass sleeves, and you can get them that way. But we don't sell them currently loose. I know. That's less than ideal. But it is what it is. They're living in my collection. All right. Now, if you have trouble where it doesn't want to go through, you can always push and pull at the same time and use the other thread that you strung before previously to help guide it through the hole. And that's how you can help pull it through so that it goes through to the next side. Now, you will sometimes end up where you have more thread, and you have to be mindful that you want the pressure or the thread to be somewhat even, because if not, then you can end up creating knots, and not in like a beautiful way, but in a tangled way. And that's less than ideal. So I'm going to do my overhand knot again. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, she's showing overhand knots. That's all we're going to be doing today is overhand knots. Skip. Well, at least we're spending time together, right? And then just pull that tight. And hopefully I didn't mess it up. And the wax Irish linen, it has, since it's wax, it almost has like a glue. And it will want to knot into itself. And once you get a knot in there, it's pretty hard to get it out. And I did that. Oops, see what I mean? I got distracted, and that's what happened. So there's that little loop. That's what happens if you don't pay attention, and the stuff is not pulled tightly. If your tension is off, that's what happened. I totally did that on purpose so you could see what happens when that happens, right? When that happens, then you kind of have to like hope you didn't pull too tight, which of course I did pull pretty tight. I've got a needle. I'm going to see if this will help me alleviate some of my issues here. Probably not, but that's okay. So do your best not to cinch your knots completely until you're ready, because that wax does create it locks that in really good, which is nice. You know, sometimes people are like, what kind of glue do you use with a wax Irish linen? And you're like, none, because it doesn't really need it. It's already got it kind of in there. All right. Let's see if I can get it out or not. It's looking unfavorable. But I'm going to keep trying, and hopefully I don't stab myself on the camera. If it happens, that's okay. Whatever. Hopefully I don't break my needle, because that could also happen. All right. Well, if I can't get it going, I'm just going to show you. Just keep going and pretend like I didn't mess up. Because who wants to watch me undo a knot? Nobody. Not even me.
But you want to do it, don't you?
Kind of. William's like, "Are you want to do it, don't you?"
You're saying you're going to keep going, but you're still working at that knot.
Correct. I can't help it. It's that fixation. I think I can get it undone. I think I can. You remember that? Was it Thomas the Train? And Julie says knots and are hard to undo in wax Irish linen. Correct. They are. So this is a good lesson to be mindful, because otherwise you're going to be in the situation that I'm in, where instead of like going full force with your tutorial, you're going to be undoing knots. And I think I can get it loose. I'm working it, y'all. Somebody's like, I'm gonna just piece out of this video of this newbie. William, can you hand me those orange and black handled pliers?
Orange and black.
Yeah. And they might be there, they might be next to the computer.
They're not here. That I see.
So as you can see, this is less than desirable if you get this hung up. All right. These ones have a finer tip. So I can kind of get in there a little bit easier. The other ones are a little bit chunky monkey style. So it gets a little bit challenging to do that. But if you kind of wheedle this in there, you can kind of pry this loose and get that going. I think I got this. Oh, there we go. All right. And then I can take this apart. All right, there we go. Now we're on track. All right. Ooh. Almost on track. Almost on track. All right. And I think what ended up happening is when I was doing it, the tension got off. And if you get the tension off, it creates this loop. And that loop kind of, it won't seamlessly flow if you do that. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Bingo. Now another technique, if you don't want to do the overhand knot, you can also knot where you, and I'll show you this in a second, but the overhand knot makes a bigger knot. And that's a good thing when you're working with the bigger beads. All right. Julie says, you are patient. I would have just cut it off and started over. You know, if you can get it going, then it's not so bad. Here we go. There we go. Overhand knot. Success. All right, I did it, y'all. I did it. I did it. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to toot my own horn, y'all. I did it. I got that knot out. Now, another knotting technique that you can use, which we're going to do for part of this, is we're going to string this through these yellow check glass faceted beads and pass this through. Karen says that she's proud of me too. Thanks, Karen. All right. So pull this through, and then you can take these separate pieces and knot it like so. And then you can do things where you will cut this green and string. Uh-oh. I can hear you all.
Azalea, quiet.
Shh, until later. Okay, and then we're going to put this on and string this, and then string this. And so we've got this. I'm going to have two more on this. And then I'm going to string them up on the other side of the bracelet as well. All right. And this is going to be a nice little loop. If you wanted to dangle things off of it, you would dangle it off of these rounds or this loop that we're making. Or you could do another kind of knotting technique in that. It's up to you. I'm just going to leave it plain. I think it adds a little bit of dimension to the piece. It's not anything, you know, We could do easily just overhand knot the whole way across, and I think that would be great just by itself. But this gives it a little bit of something extra, I think. I'm going to use this to condition this and pull it through and twist it. And then I'm going to trim that so that it's a nice little sharp point. All right. And that will help us get through the beads a little bit quicker. Now, if you're having problems, you can always set them off to the side and go for one that maybe has a hole that's less obstructed. Because sometimes it happens like there's bead release in something, or it's got a little, there'll be a little bump in your wax linen. So it kind of sometimes will make it hard to go through pieces that have like a really narrow hole. So sometimes that happens. It's no problem. Just pull it off and start over. Or you can try to get that wax linen nice and tight and sharp so that you can pass it through. And yeah, so you're all gonna sit here for a couple hours watching me string this one bead. Perfect. It's almost there. I can see that little tippy tip. I'm gonna grab it by the chin of the hair and pull it. There we go. This is applied wax linen, which means they take several different pieces and they twist it all together. Sometimes as you're working with this, it can come loose. So that may be why it's getting a little bit more challenging to put it through. But then just twist it back through and twist it tightly, and then you'll be set. All right. And then so I've got that, and I'm going to string up 4 more of these. And yeah, so we're just going to keep stringing. We've got 2. And if you wanted, you could knot in between these as well. And just do an overhand knot with just the one strand if you wanted to have that. I kind of want that kind of solid block of bright green. So I'm not going to knot in between because that kind of adds a little bit of airiness to it. And I kind of want to keep it a little bit more of a color block. And I think that bead there is the one that's being the problem, where it's got something in there in the hole. And it's just making it a little bit harder to get. All right. They're like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to be? I thought we were going to look at new product. I know, me too. All right, there we go. That's 3. 4. And 5. All right. And this is like one of the more tedious aspects of this. This in general is really super quick to put together. All right, so our forces will combine again, and what we're going to do is take these and tie it like a shoelace. And what that does is it will give it a little bit more of a little bit of a wider splay than if we overhand knot this. If we overhand knot it, it will just make it it will kind of make them tighter as opposed to have that kind of yawning green mouth. All right. And then so we're going to get this and we're going to keep going. Now that we have these bigger beads, it should go quicker. And then you just keep going, right? We're going to do an overhand knot again. And put this down here at the bottom, walking that knot all the way to the bottom there. And then just pull that. And there you go. Now I'm going to do another one of these, but I'm going to do it where it's the back behind style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to string this up on one side. Pull it taut, and then do an overhand knot on this side of the bead. Bonnie says, my Green Bay Packer friends would love these. Yeah. Yellow and green. Are they which one are they? The cheesehead people? Or is that somebody else? All right. So you've got this like so. And then depending on how long, you have to measure how long you need this to be. I've got a little bit more extra, about another 2 inches to go. So I'm just going to use up the rest of this with these yellow beads because or maybe we'll put one of these crystals in here. Bonnie says, Wisconsin, yes, cheese. We used to go to the Bead and Button show, and one of our favorite things to do was to see who had the best fried cheese curds. And by the end of the week, we'd all be kind of groaning in pain since we ate so much cheese, but in a delightful way. All right, I strung one of those crystal beads on there. And I'm going to string maybe one of these big beads, one of these big faceted Czech glass beads. I'm going to do an overhand knot. I'm going to actually make that a little bit more parallel first and then do the overhand knot so we don't end up making the knotty situation that we just had before. And pull that like that. You're going to get that. And then I'm going to do one more of these ones. And then there you go. And I actually didn't use the monofilament like I thought I would. But you basically, if you have 2 cords like this and it's not going through there very easily, what you do is you fold this in half like that. And you can put this in between your waxed Irish linen, that loop there at the end, and then go through that and use that as your needle to get through small holes and force it through that way. All right, I'm going to do another test fit. All right, and I'm going to add one more yellow bead, I think. And then I'm going to do an overhand knot. We have a spam person, so I need to figure out where that's coming from. Oh, I forgot to do the overhand knot on this. And I think it will probably be in the Great Bead Extravaganza where that person is.
Coming through Facebook?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Thank you all for hanging out with me while I knot this thing. This is a relatively fast project unless you get a knot, and then it's a slow project. So then people will be like, oh my gosh, I thought this was fast.
What's the comment say?
Your order will be ready shortly.
That's Julie listed. We know her, but
I don't know that person. All right, so here's the toggle bar. We're going to pass this through the end of the toggle bar. And like so. And that's both strands. And then I'm not going to go I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm going to leave this kind of loose up here. And I'm going to do an overhand knot. And pull that through in theory. Come on. Come on, theory. Easy theory. Come on, easy question. And get that going. And pull that up. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just go through and keep tying this around and around. And that will make, it will kind of make a bootleg version of a macrame. So you make that little P and you go under the P. That sounds weird. Basically, we used to do this when we made friendship bracelets back in the day. And then I'm going to do it again, make that little P. Go under that. And we're creating this kind of, it protects that kind of original string you've got. And you can cinch this up, but I don't like it to be too tight because it looks kind of visually bulky. But that's how. And it also helps if you have this locked in place too. So if you have this in like a clipboard situation or a naughty do-it-all or whatever, it makes that go a little bit easier than if you're just doing it like me off to the side. But it can be done off to the side and you're just basically knotting it, and that's creating that that texture you're after. And that also gives it a little bit of give, so that if you need it to if you need your toggle bar to go into that loop, you have a little bit of give here. And that's kind of messy, but you get the idea. Now you have a couple different options. You can tie it off and knot it, or you can put little dingle dangles and they can be off to the side here. But I don't really like the dingle dangles on there. I feel like those oftentimes will get in the way of closing up your piece. So just tie it knot one side firmly, the next side firmly, and there you go. And then trim it, and you should be good to go. Okay. And then I kind of just let everything pull it out and see it. Now, sometimes if you wear this a lot, it will kind of come apart. But like I said, it's super easy. And if it does happen, it takes almost no time at all to string this up. So just keep that in mind when you're putting this together. And I made this a little bit long, but there you go. Finished piece. And you kind of have to measure it. If you have too much, you can make this shorter, or you can take a segment out or a bead out. But I think that looks pretty good, right? It's done with wax Irish linen, and we made this little bracelet together using this kit that we relaunched. I'm looking at my hands, they're not all yellow, so that's good. And I'm going to put these away. And then William has some new things he's going to show you. And then if Azalea is going to, are you going to interview Azalea about?
Oh, am I?
You can ask her.
Do you want to be interviewed?
Your time on at Touchstone. All right. Don't be nervous.
You're nervous now.
Why?
Are we gonna have a break to use the bathroom?
Cynthia needs to use the bathroom. But here's this.
Yay, that looks good.
I tried hard, y'all.
You did a good job.
That
Look
knot
at
really
that.
threw me for a loop, y'all.
Look at that. Why won't it focus?
Literally, it threw me for a loop. Har, har, har.
Your camera doesn't focus very up close.
Wow.
There's wild.
That makes it so you
lenses.
can't see all my zits.
Okay, so that is my turn now. Hi, y'all.
That's William.
Hi, y'all. It's William. How are you? How are you today? I don't even know what that is. We'll find out.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay, so we got some new stuff in the online store. We just put this in. So if you go, we put it in maybe a day or two ago. So if you go into the shop tab and go into the latest editions, that's where you can see all of the latest, newest things in the online store. And it's easier to find new stuff there than to go through each individual collection and see what's new. So that just makes it easy for you to go in there. These little, boy, this camera, I'm not used to your phone. It's very different than mine. So if you can see these, hopefully, these are, I can't bring them too close. Let me try and bring them real close. Does it do anything? No. 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 Okay, well, that's different. So these are little cloisonné, tiny tinies. And where's my penny? Where's my penny? Is it over there? Okay. Nice. There you are. There's the penny. Now you can see how tiny these are. Little cloisonné beads with little leaves on them. I know it's hard to see. Little flowers and little leaves. So we have those, and we have those in a variety of colors. So that's kind of the green background. And then we have them with more of a kind of brick red background. And whoops, as I crush it under the weight of my wheels. And then, ooh, this looks like a black background.
That's a good neutral.
It is.
Or if you're a fan of the Steelers.
Black and gold. Just a few of those. And I think these are all priced individually on the website, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have a nice, I think this is probably my favorite. We have the white background with the tiny leaves and the flowers. Little cloisonné vintage everybody, vintage cloisonné beads. And then this is a gray kind of taupey background. These are actually really nice too. Black and gold are Saints colors as well. Yes, they are. Steelers and Saints, right? So those we just got into the online store. Those are vintage, old school cloisonné round beads. And then we also have these larger cloisonné beads that look like this. Aren't those pretty? So get some of these, get some of the little ones to go with them. These are now in the online store. We also, I know some of you love the Peruvian vessels. We found another one in the back as we're clearing things out. And this is a raku Peruvian vessel as a dragon. There's only one of these, and we put that in the online store. And these are glazed on the inside as well, so you can use them to hold stuff. So though that's in the online store until somebody buys it. And then it's gone. That's it. We've only got the one. What else? Oh my goodness. I've been busy putting stuff online. We have, Marianne says, I love the big cloisonne. Me too. I love all of them. Those little ones are really cute too. They're harder to see on camera though. We have these tree pendants. The hole goes that way. So it's easy to wire wrap right through that. And you don't even need a jump ring to make that sit the right way. So we have those in the online store. I believe those are silver colored. I don't think they're sterling, but it would say in the description if we know for sure. And then we have these owl coins in the silver and the gold. We have, I think, 2 of each of these available. Were these your design, Cynthia? The little owls? As I throw it on the floor.
Maybe. Let me look at it. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Cynthia designed those. So those are now in the online store. 2 of each color only. And then we have a few strands of these, and I think these are jasper. I don't know if they're Kambaba jasper. We have a few strands of these in the online store. Bonnie says, I love owls and I have many Cynthia owls. That's good. That's good. And what else do I have? That's it. Let me see what's in this because I honestly don't know what they took pictures of. They marked them fragile glass. Let's see what these are. Boy, these are wrapped. These are really well wrapped. Oh my goodness. So these are vintage Japanese. You can see that old label on there, vintage Japanese flowers. And I don't know, I'm going to unwrap another one just to see how different they are, if they're different colors. I don't know. I didn't even know we had these. So sometimes things surprise me just as much as maybe we surprise you out there. It looks like they're all the same color. Looks like they're all the same color, but it looks like they are definitely handmade because they're all a little different. And then they look like they're unfinished back here, or maybe they were sanded flat. But look at that, beautiful vintage antique at this point. I'm sure by looking at that label. The other label just flew off as I turned this. But these vintage glass flowers, those are really cool. Who knew? Who knew we even had those? I didn't know. I'm glad we had them though. I like them a lot. Now wrapping these back up is going to be the challenge. So I'm not even going to try it while I'm on camera. And that, my friends, those are the newest things that we've added to the online store currently. So we're always adding new things, especially things now that we're finding in the back room as we're clearing it out and making room for more space in store for our classes. So do keep an eye at allegorygallery.com on that latest editions collection and make sure that you just check that out every once in a while, because I would say probably close to almost every day If not, it would be every other day. We load something new in there. So keep an eye out. It's the best way to find new things. And hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps you find new stuff, good new stuff. So we're going to be taking a small break, I think, in between, unless I'm interviewing Azalea. No. She says no, not right now. Maybe we'll get an interview later. We're going to be taking a break in between now and the preview night tonight for the Great Bead Extravaganza. That happens at 8. It's 6:30 right now Eastern time. So 8 o'clock Eastern time, we'll have preview night. And then tomorrow morning, sorry, I'm probably making a lot of noise. Let me flip this camera around. I feel like I'm just talking and you're like probably not bored to death watching nothing on the screen. Let me flip this. Hello everybody. Let me move this up. There we are. Boy, my hair is wild today. My hair is wild. Not as wild as it should be, maybe I should say. So tonight is preview night for the Great Bead Extravaganza, and everybody will be showing you, giving you at least a hint or of what they're going to be doing this weekend, and then we'll kick it off tomorrow morning. Wow, that happened so fast. Tomorrow morning at 11:30, we will be kicking off the Great Bead Extravaganza with fabulous things to show you. So yeah, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed Andrew's demo. That was really cool. And that's it. That's it. As Andrew said, please, if you can support us in any way, we appreciate that. As we are working towards starting this new business, we need all the help we can get to get everything going. It's going to be, I think, a really good opportunity for us, and not only us, but for other makers around, around the world, as we start building this business out and looking to people who create things to possibly help us stock inventory and all that. So Allegory Gallery has been based on helping people create things and turn people into creative people and make people, I shouldn't say turn them into, bring out their creativity. And now that a lot of you out there are making things and doing things, there may be a time when we can help sell things as well, more than we do now, by sharing your posts and your things that you make with our beads that we share. If you're in the group, if you're in our Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group and you post things that you made, it's sometimes we share them, and hopefully you can get some some sales or some attention that way. So we're really excited. Diane says, I can't wait to see what you bring into the new store. Neither can I. I'm very excited about it. And I think it's going to be a really, really good thing for the community at large, not just for us. It has to be good for us to keep doing it, of course. That's what business is. But we also, we wouldn't want to do anything that didn't involve community. So we're really looking forward to seeing where it goes and what happens. So stay tuned. Things are getting close, I think. And I think we'll have a lot more news and a lot more things to share with you soon. So thank you for tuning in now. We will be coming back with the whole Great Bead Extravaganza crew at 8 p.m. tonight Eastern time, 8765. It's 5 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. And we'll see you then. All right, everybody. Have a great one until then. And please do tune in at 8 tonight to see what everyone is going to have to offer for the weekend. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great one.